Hey there, everybody. It's Chief Meteorologist Jason Boyer. Thanks for joining me here online at my YouTube page. And don't forget to click subscribe if you haven't already at the end of this video. But I want to get you updated on this week's color here in the Blue Ridge Mountains of western North Carolina. As expected, the heat from September carried over into October, and that has had an impact on the timing of the colors and a little bit on the intensity of those colors as well. Let's show you a picture. This is a weather photo from Leslie Restivo, and this is the Grandfather Mountain Stewardship Foundation. If you're not familiar with where Grandfather Mountain is, it's up in Avery County, so it's north of Asheville by about 2 hours. That's some beautiful color, though, that's showing up. As you see here, this week, the color's starting to show up more so than last week, and that's to be expected as we get closer to the peak in some of the high elevations. But not all the views are like this. Obviously, it depends on elevation, and that is a big factor in what is happening across the area now. So we'll see how things play out the next few weeks. The good news is we're going to get a delayed peak. So if you're not here now, you have time to still get to the high elevations and witness some of the most beautiful vistas in this part of the country, this part of the world, really. All right, so predicted peak color. It does look like it's going to be delayed by about a week, maybe a little more in most cases. So the highest peaks are now expected to see their peak fall foliage the second week of October. So we got through this week and then into next week. That's when I think things will be highest in terms of colors for the high peaks above 5,000 feet. You come down below 5,000 feet to around 4,000 feet. We're talking the second to third week in October. I'll take that down to 3,500 feet. And then we'll go the third to fourth week of October before we start to see some of the peak color down near Asheville. And then it's probably not until the end of October into the first week of November that we'll get some peak color in the valleys. That includes Hendersonville, that includes Asheville, Brevard, Waynesville. So it's going to be a while. We still have several weeks to go before peak is reached down in the valley locations that many people will travel to and kind of hang out in terms of the towns. And then beyond that, the first and second week in November, that's going to be reserved for the foothills east of, say, I-26. You get into areas of Burke County, McDowell County, Rutherford County, Polk County, those lower elevations below 2,000 feet. I think it's going to be the first or second week in November when peak is reached there. And of course, for the lowest elevations in our region, it's not until the second or third week in November. Hopefully, the leaves can hang on long enough for these peaks to be met in those areas east, because obviously the less daylight we get, the faster the leaves are going to want to come down. So here's a look at kind of how this plays out from a mountainside standpoint. If you were going to drive somewhere and see the highest color, it's really near peak color that we're getting in Mount Mitchell, 6684. Of course, that's the highest peak east of the Mississippi River. We got Black Balsam Knob, that's 6,200 feet. That's along the Blue Ridge Parkway. And of course, Newfound Gap there in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. It's considered moderate color, not high color or near peak color just yet. Same in Highlands. You get down to 3,500 feet, that's where we're seeing the transition from moderate color to very low color. We don't have much color down in Asheville. From an anecdote from my standpoint, we just don't. We do not have a lot of color here. I've been driving around the area. The maples are certainly colorful, some of the sourwoods, but for the majority of us, it's still very green down in Asheville, Waynesville, and of course Hendersonville and Brevard included in that. So let's take a look at what it is in terms of the drive. The best drive still remains the Blue Ridge Parkway. I've highlighted the Blue Ridge Parkway for you. That's the white line that cuts from Mitchell County, Yancey County, stretching through the Black Mountains and Mount Mitchell down into Asheville, then cutting across the French Broad River Valley on to the north and eventually to the south, I should say southwest, and then eventually to the north as we go through Transylvania County and Haywood County. So this white line represents the Blue Ridge Parkway. That's your best bet in terms of getting the best views of the color at this point. Then over the next couple of weeks, we'll begin to work down in elevation, and you'll be able to drive more of the highways that lead in and out of Asheville, Brevard, and Waynesville to see some of the color. So that's the update for now. The warm weather has delayed the colors, so we're looking at another week, maybe another week and a half added on to what typical peak colors would be this time of the year. And some of the colors are muted, I will admit. They are muted a little bit because we've had such dry conditions. We need rain. We're going to get a lot colder this weekend. The wind's going to pick up, so this weekend is a good weekend to get here, experiencing not only the fall chill, but the fall colors. That's your update for this week. Have a great